To politely order in Japanese, it's no more difficult than the item you want to purchase followed by o kudasai. If you'd like to number, if you'd like to include how many of these things you want to buy, the number just simply goes before kudasai. Now, if you were to say, for example, o bento o ichi kudasai, o bento o ni kudasai, and so on and so forth, a Japanese speaker would understand you, but it would sound clunky. They do have a separate counting system for counting objects. Ichi, ni, san does kind of work, but it's clunky, and you are better off using this counting system. We've seen a few counting systems already. One person, hitori, two people, futari, sannin, yonin, so on and so forth. 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, ichiji, niji, 14 years old, 15 years old, 14 sai, 15 sai. So all these little counting systems make up the language, and this is no different. So item o, number, kudasai. Just to focus on being able to count to 5 with this numbering system, year 10. 1 to 10 is a bit overwhelming, and chances are you aren't going to order more than 5 things. So one item is hitotsu. So for example, it might be obento o hitotsu kudasai. 2 things is futatsu. 3 things is mitsu. 4 things is yotsu. 5 things is itsutsu. So when you're reading this or writing this, it is absolutely no more difficult than the numbers in kanji, which you have known since year 7, followed by tsu, which is what you've also known since year 7. It's just when you're saying this and or hearing it that you are going to have to remember these 5 new words. So once more, 1 item is hitotsu, 2 items is futatsu, 3 items is mitsu, 4 items yotsu, 5 items itsutsu. So in context, for example, it might look like, can I please have some donuts? Donatsu o kudasai. So I haven't specified how many, so I'm able to express myself as simply as something o kudasai. If I'd like to specify how many of these items, the number simply goes before kudasai. So for example, can I please have 4 onigiri rice balls? Onigiri o yotsu kudasai. Now, this introduction sheet does actually have a second page where I've given you a more complex sentence structure and additional vocabulary. So these are strictly optional and more. It's for those students wanting the extension. So if you're wanting to order more than one item as well as multiples of each item, this is where you would use this sentence structure. So item 1 o number, to item 2 o number, kudasai. So it's actually very similar to the original structure. We're just remembering that to means and. And counting past 5 up until 10 items, you've got mutsu for 6 items. That's a mistake. That should be nanatsu for 7 items. Yatsu for 8 items, kokonotsu for 9 items, and to for 10 items. So in context, can I please have some donuts and some onigiri rice balls? Again, if you aren't specifying how many, it's no more difficult than something to, something o kudasai. Donatsu to onigiri o kudasai. However, if you are wanting more of each of the items that you're ordering. For example, can I please have 2 donuts and 4 onigiri rice balls? Donatsu o 2つと onigiri o 4つ kudasai. And also, ultimately, if you do forget this grammatical structure, you can revert to just simply, donatsu o kudasai. And then the shopkeeper will invariably, in Japanese, probably use the question word ikutsu desu ka? How many? And your response can then just be, hitotsu, futatsu, Or if you even forget that, you could revert to ichi, ni. And if you forget that, you could revert to counting on your fingers. There are so many ways that you can get through a purchase in Japanese without any stress. But ultimately, I would like you to have all the language that you need, and this is it. Something o kudasai. And if you want to specify how many, the number goes before the kudasai.